Okay. Next identity or property of group theory, left and right cancellation law. See, in usual way, we'll cancel. For example, if in real analysis, um, if we have 2x and y into 2, okay, we cancel this 2 and write x is equal to y, right? It is commutative there. In real space it is commutative, so we're not bothered about where it is either 2 into x or y into 2. We are not bothered about that. We'll just cancel to any place. But in group theory that is not true. We have left cancellation law. That is only if elements, for example, only if 2 into x is equal to 2 into y, then we can cancel this 2. Then we can tell x is equal to y. Or if it is, that is left cancellation law. And if it is x into 2 is equal to y into 2, then we can cancel these two by right cancellation law. The first one is left cancellation, right cancellation. If 2 is in random way, we cannot cancel by right or left cancellation law. That is possible only when the group is abelian. Okay, real space is abelian, real is abelian there, so we can cancel in either way. So we'll go for first problem. We'll go for the proof of this theorem. Let's just see the definition. If A, B, C are any three elements of group G with binary operation star, they did not tell its multiplication or addition, they just told the star, then A star B is equal to A star C. That is given. A star B is equal to A star C implies that B is equal to C. See, you can see A is in left hand side on both the terms, so they're telling this thing we can cancel that A and tell it as left cancellation. And the next one, A star B is equal to C star B. So in both the right hand side of this term we have B, and we can cancel B and we call it as right cancellation law. So we have proof for this. The first one, we'll prove first one, that is A star B is equal to A star C implies B is equal to C. Okay. So by data A star B is equal to A star C. Then what we'll do is we'll multiply A inverse from left hand side. When you multiply in group theory, we can multiply, if you are multiplying A inverse, you have to multiply either for both the terms from left hand side or both the terms from right hand side. How do we know that A inverse exists? It is given that G is a group. So if G is a group, every element of group G contains its inverse. That is, if A belongs to G, then A inverse also belongs to G. So A inverse into A star B is equal to A inverse star A. Okay, what did they do here? We multiplied A inverse on both the sides, right? So just use associative law. Instead of having these two, just take these. Okay, that's what they did here. So A inverse star A star B, that's associative law. A inverse star A star C, and we know that A inverse is inverse of A, so A inverse into A is equal to E. That is by inverse law of a group. Inverse law of group. So E star B is equal to E star C. So any element E, what is E? E is an identity. So any element multiplied by identity is the element itself. That is, E star B is B and E star C is C. That is because of identity element. You have to write in your exam also, you have to write how you got this. The any step you have to write how you got that step. So we started with a star b is equal to a star c, and we came to b is equal to c. So that is this is called left cancellation law. So we have to prove second one. So again by data a star b, again by data a star b is equal to c star b. We'll multiply now, or not multiplying, we'll have a binary operation. See here, star is not a multiplication, is a binary operation. So we'll have a binary operation b inverse from right hand side. When you use a binary operation, you have to use it from either right hand side or left hand side. The previous identity I just told all, wherever star was there, I told it's multiplication. It's not multiplication, it's just a binary operation. Okay, so a star b inverse, we use binary operation on right hand, from right hand side. Now we use associative law. Okay, so associative law, we'll take these two. So b star b inverse, that is by associative law. You have to write how you got that. So what is b star b inverse? That is nothing but E, where E is identity. We got this by inverse axiom. Then what is A star E? Because E is identity, A star E is A and C star E is C. So A is equal to C is the identity axiom. Next identity. If A, B are any two elements of group G by under binary operation star, then equation A star X is equal to B and Y star A is equal to B have unique solution. What does it mean? If you have A star X is equal to B, then you have to get B, when you have a variable X with binary operation with A, see here, A star X is equal to B. Whenever you have X, for example, if you have 2x is equal to 4, then what you'll do? You'll solve for X, right? In normal algebra, you'll solve for X is equal to 2. That is 4 by 2. Here binary operation is multiplication between 2 and X, right? But here we don't know the binary operation. They just told it is A star X. What they're telling here, if A belongs to G, B belongs to G, and A star X is equal to B, then there will be a single element or a unique solution for X. There will be a unique answer for X. Like X cannot be two separate answer. For example, let's say one answer is 2 and another answer is 3. This is not possible. Either answer should be 2 or 3 itself. We cannot have two answer for X for some for one element A and B. Same way, if you have Y star A, that is Y now variable in right hand side, left hand side, Y star A is equal to B, then there should be a unique solution for Y. This is actually like normal to have a unique solution in all your real space or complex space. But because this is a fundamental theorem, a fundamental identity, we are going to prove each and everything. That uniqueness also we are going to prove here. So first we'll prove A star X is equal to B has a unique solution. The first thing we have to show that there is a solution. Then we have to show the solution is unique. Right? So case 1, since each element in group G has a unique inverse. We already proved there each element in group G has a unique inverse and there will be a unique identity, right? So we'll start with that. Since each element in a group G has unique inverse, A belongs to G, for any element A belongs to G, that implies there exists A inverse belongs to G. For each A element A, there exists an inverse A inverse. So also A inverse belongs to G, belongs to G. This is just to prove we are taking A inverse belongs to G and belongs to G, implies that there's B some other element belongs to G, implies that A inverse star B, a binary operation A inverse star B belongs to G. This is by closure law. What it says, A belongs to G implies a element A belongs to G implies its inverse also belongs to G. And once again, a inverse of element, that is the element of G, and one more element B belongs to G. If you have a binary operation with these two elements, that element also belongs to G by closure law of group theory. That is, if you take any two elements, binary operation between that, that also belongs to the group. Then now substituting A inverse B for X in the left hand side. For the, we are substituting the value of X as A inverse star B in this equation, in the left hand side of the equation. Okay, instead of X we are substituting A inverse B. What we are doing here is we start with A star X, and try to get B. We'll substitute some value for X, multiply with take binary operation with A and get B. So what is the chosen substitution for X? That is A inverse star B. So A inverse B, inverse star B, we use associative law. So we take A star A inverse. Now what is A star A inverse? By inverse law we have, that is E, that is the identity element. So what is E star B? There is nothing but B. So we have chosen some element or some answer for X, and we got the right hand side as B. So what is the value for X? The value for X is A inverse star B. That is, X is equal to A inverse star B, satisfy the equation A star X is equal to B. Also A inverse B belongs to G, therefore X, okay. We know that here we just proved there A inverse B belongs to G. So X is equal to A inverse B is a solution of A star X is equal to B in G. Now what is the next step? We have to show that A inverse star B or solution of X is unique. If A inverse of B is a solution for X, then that is the only solution for X. There is no other solution. So how to do that? That possibly there are two solutions. Let's say first solution is x1 and second solution is x2. These are two solutions. Then by the fact that x is equal to x1 is a solution, we will get A star x1 is equal to B in G. Okay. Two solution of A star x is equal to B in G. So that A star x1 is equal to B and A star x2 is equal to B. These are the facts, like x1 is a solution and this one is by the fact that x2 is the solution. We will substitute. So we got A star x1 is equal to B and A star x2 is equal to B. In both the answer right hand side is B, right? So A star x1 is equal to A star x2. That's what we got, right? Okay, A star x1 is equal to A star x2. That's what we got. Now we just proved the last identity, that is left cancellation law. You can see here in left hand side both the places you have A. So we can use left cancellation law and we'll get x1 is equal to x2. That's what if you have two separate solutions for this x, then both of them are same, that is x1 is equal to x. Hence the equation a star x is equal to b has a unique solution in G. Next one, case 2, that is y star a is equal to b. So y star a will multiply a inverse from right hand side. So what we will get, not multiply, we use a inverse, what you call, we'll use a inverse binary operation from right hand side. And next step, we used associative law. Here we used associative law. By associative law we got a star a inverse is equal to e and b star a inverse, and we got b is equal to, sorry, y is equal to b star a inverse. That is by identity axiom. So y is equal to b star a inverse is the solution of y star a is equal to b. See, this is second method of doing that. In first method we can use the first method itself by choosing something as a solution, and we can prove this. This is one more type of proving, but first method is the fundamental method. The better method is first one. Okay. So if possible, let there are two solutions. The same thing will just trying to show that is unique. y1 and y2 are the equation. Y is equal to a, that is b, same as the first in first case what we did. So we'll go for examples now. The first example, we have a group G. Find what is A, B inverse, C inverse, D whole inverse, where A, B, C, D all belongs to G. So if you just remember identity of inverse, I'll go to there. See this one, A star B whole inverse is equal to B inverse star A inverse, because here it is not commutative, group is not commutative, right? Only abelian group is commutative. So A star B whole inverse is equal to B inverse star A inverse. A star B whole inverse is not always equal to A inverse star B inverse. That is possible only if it is commutative. So we have to use that thing here to all these elements. So A, B inverse, C inverse, D whole inverse will be, see they used here, this will be, take the last element to first, so D inverse, then the next term C inverse whole inverse, next B inverse whole inverse, then A inverse. What is inverse of inverse? That is same element, so C and B. So D, that is the answer, D inverse C B A inverse. For better understanding, just go through the all identities or properties I did before, you'll understand better. The next one, in a non-commutative group, that is a normal group only, they just have mentioned that it is not commutative at all. So in a non-commutative group G, A, B, C, D all belongs to G, we have or find what is A inverse, B inverse, C inverse, whole inverse. The same way we have to use same formula, also same identity. This is A inverse, B inverse, C inverse, whole inverse. So the last element comes to first. So C inverse, whole inverse, B inverse, whole inverse, A inverse, whole inverse. Inverse of the same element of inverse will be element itself. So CBA will be the answer. The next example, if every element of group G is its own inverse, then show that G is abelian. So here that they have a group G where every element belongs to that group G has its own inverse, not has, is its own inverse. For example, there exists an element A, Okay. Then for example, there exists an element A belongs to G. Then what is its inverse? Its inverse will be A inverse, right? But what they are telling here is A inverse will be equal to A in this group. Then show that G is abelian. What is that? We have to show that G is a commutative group, or commutative properties holds here. So we will start proving here. Let's say two elements are there. One is A and one more is B belongs to G. Then by by the statement A inverse is equal to A and B inverse is equal to B. Since G is a group, it has closure property. That is, take A inverse, take A and B, then AB will belongs to G. A binary operation we have taken as multiplication. They did not mention, but you can use A star B. That is a better one. Okay, because we don't know the what is the binary operation, right? If you use A star B, that's a better one. So AB belongs to G. Then what is AB inverse or inverse of AB? By the group, by the statement, its inverse also itself. AB whole inverse will be, if AB is an element, then its inverse will be the same, that is AB. But by normal definition of inverse, we always have AB whole inverse will be equal to B inverse A inverse. That is normally, right? So for left hand side we use that. For left hand side we use that AB whole inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse, and right hand side it will be same A and B. But once again, if you remember here, what is A inverse is equal to, that is A, and what is B inverse is equal to B. So we use that. Instead of B inverse we write B, and instead of A inverse we write A, and right hand side will be same AB. That is what the definition of a commutative law. BA is equal to AB, or AB is equal to BA. Hence G is an abelian group, or commutative properties holds good. The better way of writing is A star B instead of just AB, but this one also okay. The next example, if in a group G, AB whole square is equal to A square B square for all A comma B belongs to G, then prove that G is abelian. So they have given a group G and they told a property there, that is AB whole square will be A square B square. In this group, in the given group, there exists a property, that is AB whole square will be equal to A square B square for all the element belongs to the group G. Then what we have to prove? We have to prove it is abelian. Then what is the condition of abelian? You can just see here, this is the condition of abelian. We have to prove BA is equal to AB or AB is equal to BA. That's what they are asking here. By using this condition which this group has, or the property which this group has. So we'll start with that property, that is AB whole square is equal to A square B square. What is AB whole square means? AB whole square what is A square means? There is nothing but A into A, right? 2 square means 2 into 2 or 2 star 2. So AB whole square is nothing but AB into AB. Then what is A square? A into A. And what is B square? B into B. Now we use associative law. What is associative law? We will just take all elements here except A as outside. The same thing we did here. Now we have left cancellation law. So we are cancelling if the elements from left hand side are same, then we can cancel that. We'll cancel A and A. That is left cancellation law. And what is, then we'll use once again associative law by the, sorry, 1 minute. We used left cancellation law for this, and we got this. Here we used associative law for the remaining elements. Now we use once again associative law by taking BA and B and AB and B. So BB are same in right hand side. So we can use right cancellation law. The remaining element is BA is equal to AB. That's what we required to prove. The next example, prove that a group of order 3 is abelian. So what we are going to prove? Let's say any group of order 3. That means any group where they have 3 elements. Then that group will be abelian. So first we have to remember, for any group if you have 3 elements, then one identity element must be there. Let's say that identity element is E. Then you can have 2 other elements, let's say A and B. So what are the possibilities? One is they have just mentioned here E, A, B, 3 elements where E is identity. Then if you multiply identity into that element should be there, because is group we have the conditions, and E into B also B, here also A and B. Then we have A into A. We have just written at A into A, we don't know what is it. A into B, we don't know what is A into B also, we have just written that. We cannot have some other element because only 3 elements are there. So A star A should be either A or B or E. We don't know, we have to just see. But it cannot be A because already A is there, right? It should be either E or B. And there is A star B also. And this is just we have written what is the possibilities. So we'll go for the proof. Let G comma star be a group of order 3. So G contains 3 elements, of which one element should be identity E. Let A, B be other 2 elements. Now G has 3 elements, that is E, A, B. Since in any row of the composition table of the group, each element exists once and only once. That is, we cannot have one more A here. Since once A came here, we cannot have A in these two. So from the element of second row, this is the second row, A star B is equal to E. So this element we are thinking about this. So A star B is equal to E, or A star B should be equal to B. It cannot be, A star B cannot be is equal to this element because it already exists. We cannot have A star B is equal to A. So suppose we are going, this should be either of these two. So if this happens, A star B is equal to B, then what is the thing? We can use right cancellation law. This is B is there in right hand side and B is there in right hand side. Let's say if you take E here, E star B, so we can cancel B. So what is remaining? I'll write this once again. So A star B is equal to B. I can write once again as A star B is equal to E star B, because identity element, that element is same, right? I just multiplied identity here. Now I can use right cancellation and cancel this B. So what will be remaining? Remaining will be A is equal to E. That's what comes here. But we already know that A is different element than identity element. A cannot be equal to E. A and E are separate element. So A is equal to E is not possible. So if A is equal to E is not possible, then this is also not possible. That is A star B is equal to B is also not possible. So this condition, this thing is not possible at all. So A star B is equal to E itself is the only possibility. So A star A is not equal to E. So A star B is equal to E is the only possibilities. Then from the element third row, we got one thing, A star B is equal to E, we have taken 1. Now next one we have taken as 1. Next one from third row, what is third row? This is third row. We already got B, so these two cannot be equal to B, so we'll just bothered about now as this one. So what is B star A? What is B star A? So either B star A is equal to E or B star A is equal to A. Suppose B star A is equal to A. We use once again right cancellation law, and A cancels, so B will be equal to E, which is not possible because B and E are two separate elements, right? So what is the possibility? Only possibility is B star A is equal to E, and we have taken it as equation 2. Just compare equation 1 and equation 2, where both are right hand side are E, we get A star B is equal to B star A. That's what commutative law. So because it is commutative, the group is abelian. You can prove for even for 4 also, a group of order less than 5 is abelian, it seems. So you can just try the same thing for of group of order 4. The next one, if G is a group of even order, then show that there exists an element A other than identity element E such that A square is equal to E. So what they are telling, so we have a group G of even order. What is even order? Even orders are like maybe order of 2, like, or 4, 6, 8. The number of elements are 2, 4, 6, 8 of this kind. Then there will be some element A other than E such that its square will be identity. So how to show that? Let G be a group of even order so that G contains an even number of elements. Okay. Even number of elements. Now since every element in the group G possesses unique inverse, for example, if you have A, then there should be A inverse, right? So if you have B, then there should be B inverse. So all 2 will be there, C inverse, right? So all this should be, so if you A inverse, B inverse will be there, and there will be some other element E which is not none of this, right? Then hypothesis of even order reveals that there is at least one element other than identity element such that A inverse is equal to A. So if you have 6 element, let's say you have 6 element, that is order of group G, then one element has its inverse as A inverse, so 2 elements over here. Then another element B has B inverse as its inverse, so 4 elements over. Then there is 5th element as identity. Then there exists some other element C which does not have any other element for its inverse. Then it should be its own inverse, right? That's what they're telling here. For identity, there will be an element A inverse is equal to A except E. But A inverse A tells that if you multiply A for both the sides, here also A, here also A into A is equal to A into A inverse. That is multiplying A from left hand side, or having a binary operation from left hand side. Then what is this? A into A, that is A square. What is A into A inverse? That is E. Thus A is not equal to C is element of C such that A square is equal to E. That's what we had to prove here.